Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast, and this is a very special episode. This is episode number 69, which means I'm going to make Mike do this. Whoop! You're now upside down. Hello.
What's up, baby?
Yeah, I am one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay, and I'm here with my good friend, Mr. Mike McLaughlin. How's it going, buddy?
Other than being nauseous all week and now you've flipped me upside down, not bad, mate. How are you?
I'll make you feel better. Here, I'll turn you the right way up. There you go. Fantastic.
Thanks, mate. I hope you remember to do these edits.
Yeah. Yeah, mate, I'm not bad after the work. Actually, hang on. So I'm trying to think how ill I was on the last podcast. I think I just got over the headache and my tongue was starting to hurt that day. I woke up the next day.
You bit your tongue?
Yeah, I had bit my tongue at the back, but I woke up the next day and I had like 5 mouth ulcers and it was absolutely awful. I ended up going to A&E at some point. So I felt absolutely vile, but I'm back on top form. I'm feeling fantastic again, which is good. I'm feeling motivated to get some work done. I'm actually even feeling motivated to make videos, which is nice. I made a video last night and wanting to get back to that because I'm supposed to make videos and I'm supposed to enjoy making videos, and I do enjoy making videos. So yeah, anything interesting going on with you? You were mentioning you got that pickup put in the Ormsby.
Yes, last weekend, before I started feeling like shit, I managed to, first time I've ever done it, is successfully solder a pickup into a guitar, and it was a very easy swap, and it just sounds tremendous, man. I can't wait to and I've also put a different gauge of strings on there. I was telling you just before the show. I'd been using 13 to 62 gauge with a wound third, which is a really tight low end string, but it was just too boomy.
Yep.
I thought with it being extended range it might have made it better over the 27.5 inch, but it wasn't. It's been working, it's been good, but finding that as the strings get older, they seem to die quicker, and the low end's kind of hard to tune, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's either boomy or it's too flat, or just slightly flat. So I opted to buy a couple of different sets of different gauges, and I got some 12 to 60, and I got 13 to 54, 13 to 56, sorry, which is the Dario Light Jazz gauge, I want to say. Fired them on the guitar, and with a wee bit of tweaking, plays and sounds great, man. Yeah,
I'm very, very much of the opinion that thin strings sound good. The thinner you can go and keep good tension, yeah, that's what it is for me.
That seems to be the balance. Like the 13s and B on the treble end feel great, and then it's kind of like reducing the how thick the string needs to be towards that bass end because it's got the baritone scale length.
Yeah,
has made a difference. So
cool.
Happy. I just need to restring the rest of my guitars like that.
Yeah. On the note of Ormsby, did you know? This show is brought to you by Ormsby Guitars. We want to thank Perry and the guys over at Ormsby for all of their support. It is very much appreciated. For those unfamiliar with Ormsby and what they do, they're wonderful guitars built by Perry out in Australia. And probably what they're most notable for in recent years is actually doing these runs of guitars that are actually built offshore and then brought into Australia for quality control and then sent on out. So if you head on over to ormsbyguitars.com and check out the pre-order section on their website, you can check out some of the upcoming runs, get involved for a very low price, and prepayment plans, payment over a series of months. Great way to get yourself a killer instrument and absolutely killer price. So as always, thank you so much for the support, guys. Check them out and let them know that we sent you. Anyway, on with the show. Okay, so on with the show, and we're going to do our best to make this one a perfect hour-long show. Probably won't happen, but you know how it goes.
Best laid plans of mice and men.
Exactly. So the first story we've got, Mike found this one. It's a really interesting story, actually. I really enjoy this. Diezel's new VHX head knows when it's been profiled, and Mike posted this up in our admin group talking about the idea of, could DRM be the future of kind of modern audio? Is that something that musicians are going to have to start dealing with? So why don't you tell us a little bit about this story, Mike?
So this was posted 4 days ago in Guitar World, and just as Levi says, the tagline is Diezel's new VHX head knows when it's been profiled. So I'll just read the article. So when Diezel announced the VHX, a 100-watt all-tube head with screen-enabled digital control and onboard impulse responses, we knew the iconic German guitar amp company had something special on its hands. But among the head's many USPs, it had one feature we weren't expecting, a profiling log.
Ooh.
After a raft of speculation at prominent guitar forum, the Gear page, Diezel's Leonardo Polito, username Politiolio, I think, confirmed the VHX has an ability to detect when when it has undergone a profiling process. For example, the test tones employed by Kemper. This information is then logged in the amp. So when I first read that, I'm like, oh, here we go, man. Like this
Sounds
will be
nefarious.
interesting. Yeah, for anyone that's not seen it or isn't watching and hasn't heard about this head, imagine a Diezel head. You know how they've got the 4 cascading channels and they kind of run at an angle? Well, it's got 4 knobs on the left, 4 knobs on the right, and then a screen slap bang in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's like a digital interface on this all-valve head. Really, really cool looking, really interesting concept. Sorry, 5 knobs at either side.
Yeah.
Really interesting concept, but really cool to see how that pans out and what happens with it.
I'm sure it'll pan out well because Diezel make great gear.
Can't complain with their stuff. A lot of people swear by it. It kind of caught me off guard that they would have a profiling log, and when I first read this, I'm like, oh, here we fucking go, man. Like, this is going to result in something bad.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I initially, when I read the title for this story, had assumed that maybe it was going to know when it was being profiled and essentially shut itself down.
Mm-hmm.
But that fortunately isn't the case. So continue.
Yeah, so that was kind of the same as myself, and that's why I posted it without really much other context than what I'd said, that maybe this is DRM, because at first sight and first read, you go, fuck, here we go. Now they're going to start locking down like the ability to digitally I can't think of the word.
To make a copy of a digital copy of. Yeah.
To basically to actually profile the amps. Anyway, Diezel has made it clear that the feature is not intended as any kind of opposition to Kemper's groundbreaking technology. It does not affect the profiling process, nor does it stop the user from profiling in the first place. The high-gain amp specialist has yet to confirm exactly what the data will be used for, but one possible implementation is to prevent users from buying an amp, profiling it, then immediately returning it. Fair?
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talking about this, and I see that as a completely fair concept, but I also have to imagine that is such a tiny, insignificant part of the market that it's going to spend $2,500 on an amp or whatever, profile it, and then return it. Like, you need an extreme amount of money on hand just to get a profile of an amp. That's like ridiculous levels of caring for me, I would say.
But there are plenty of people out there that might do that, and it could be just playing total devil's advocate here and make a hypothetical. It could be that someone who runs a studio and is just buying amps, getting a hold of them, profiling them and sending them back. So you've essentially got a Kemper with every amp you can imagine for your studio, which would be pretty out of order to do, but I'd imagine there'll be somebody does it.
Yeah.
Or has tried it at least.
Yeah,
anyway.
I believe we even had this conversation on the show a while back about the concept of Kempers and them being, is it piracy? Would it be piracy to profile an amp and then sell profiles of that amp? Like, how does that work? It's a very interesting world, an interesting time that we find ourselves in. But I don't think there's a massive crossover. I think the people that like the Kemper, and I think that people that don't like the Kemper because they don't like the idea of digital things, so they want the real amp anyway. So, yeah.
I get what you're saying. I think to discredit or to write off the Kemper, or the Axe effects for that matter, without trying them's a bit silly. You know what it's like, man. The internet forums are the worst for it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of slurring my word. I'm still not feeling too great. I'm going to be extra illegible this time for this episode.
Yeah, I'll do my best to try and understand you, but everyone else,
good luck.
Have fun.
I mean, if they're watching on YouTube, they can put the closed captions on and have a ball.
Yeah.
I've seen a few people doing that. I'll read the rest of this article quickly.
Go for it.
So, whatever the technology ends up being used for, it could prove to be an important development in amp modelling. While one potential application is all-out profiler blocking, it could also be employed as a means to log which settings and channels have been profiled, making it easier for users to capture a full spectrum of tones. Guitar World has contacted Diezel for further information, and nothing really has been said.
Yeah.
This amp will be available later this year for $4,899 or £3,050.
A lot of money.
Definitely, but as you said yourself, it's not as if Diezel aren't a boutique brand. They're well known for.
Yeah, they make. They've made a ton of amps over the year. Doug used to play the VH4 out with Hellcat Molly, and we got to know the guys from Diezel from hanging around on the the trade show scene in London, and I was in love with the Schmidt, the Diezel Schmidt. I thought that was a great amp.
I've never really played any Diezel heads. You know that?
they're good. I like them. Yeah.
They're very, very dry and tight, aren't they?
I mean, the Schmidt is an ugly amp. I'll give it that, but I'm sure
I'm
it
going
was
to look
the
it up
Schmidt.
right now.
It was the Schmidt, and we played a lot of them. Einstein, the Herbert, a bunch of great amps. But the Schmidt sounded great, but it was the ugliest amp. It really was.
Is this the one with the dials up the top and it's kind of...
It's like really boxy. It's a very deep amp.
Aye.
Very, very deep. It felt
looks
like it never fit on top of a 4x12.
It's like a metal version of a Dumblehead.
Yeah. Cool amp though. Really liked it. Okay, so yeah, I hope nothing nefarious comes from that.
No.
But at the same time, I also do hope that there is a way that Diezel can refuse a return on an amp that's been profiled. I just, it's not Diezel selling them, it's going to be Sweetwater selling them. And Sweetwater aren't going to sell an amp, send it out to someone, then profile it and send it back, and then someone at Sweetwater go, right, well, we better check to see if this has been profiled, and if it has been profiled, then we won't accept the return. I just don't see that happening. So...
It could have something... Well, you never know, because it might be that Diezel say that we don't want to support customers in that way, so therefore you need to follow these processes and we'll back it up on our end.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like, man, or you know what it's like behind closed doors. Anyway.
And also,
hopefully,
who knows how accurate it is? Because it's essentially... It's very strange when you think about it, because I assume the technology is working by constantly monitoring everything that the amp... every signal that goes into the amp. And it's then looking for a specific sound that goes through the amp and going, that's me being profiled, better log that.
Well, it did say that it profiles a lot of other stuff, so it's maybe profiling like every setting you can imagine on there.
Yeah.
And it might just be like diagnostic logs for if something goes wrong with the amp. What hasn't really been touched on in that could be like the greatest thing in terms of like servicing, because it could go back to Diezel and they might be able to run some sort of log on it and go, cool, this is where the component is that's faulty.
Yeah.
You never know. It could be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see what happens with it.
Okay, let's talk about the idea of being pulled up for incorrectly named blasphemy laws. Blasphemy would be against God, right? This is against Poland. Or it's actually, when you really look at this is a story of trademark infringement, if you like, trademark infringement on a Polish design. So why don't you give us the story?
Cool. So on Loudwire, the actual topic's disappeared for some reason on my screen, so I can't read you the headline. Are you gonna show me? Are you gonna keep scrolling on this image of Nergal and not tell me anything? Right, I'll just need to dive in. I'm sorry. So it looks like the government of Poland has again summoned Behemoth, however we need to say it, but keep changing every time, the band leader Adam Darski, who's Nergal, to defend one of the Polish death metal band's merchandise designs. That's because the act's The Republic of the Unfaithful logo takes its inspiration from the white eagle on Poland's coat of arms.
Or claims that it takes inspiration from.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, it's a bit like buying something off your Wish and being like, it's different enough that you can say it isn't exactly the same. Yeah. So the issue first came to light in 2017 when a prosecutor's office in the Polish city of Gdansk called Nergal in for questioning regarding the Behemoth emblem. On Wednesday, which is July the 8th, the musician shared 2 new photos of himself in court along with a message indicating the reactivated nature of the case. As a total besides, there used to be a burger place in Glasgow called Meat Hammer Limited. It was a kitchen in Nice and Sleazy's,
right.
And the guy did a couple of burgers for Metal Hammer or Terrorizer, one of these magazines, and they were band themed, and they'd done one that was called the Behemoth Burger, and it was just no, it wasn't like it was massive, it was just delicious.
Okay.
It had bone marrow gravy.
Ooh.
And that was a nod towards Nergal having had was it leukemia or some form of cancer that was to do with bone marrow, and a couple other things. Oh man, I can't describe how good these burgers were.
I mean, we're going a little bit off topic here, but I'm going to throw out a controversial statement of the day, right?
You don't like burgers?
No, I love burgers. I'm going to go super controversial, right? I would, if I had to eliminate steaks or burgers from the world, steak can get in the bin. I love steak, don't get me wrong. Steak's one of my favourite things, but there's something really special about a burger.
But you can't, because your question itself or your predicament's flawed. Because if you've got steak, you can make burgers.
Yeah. Well, if it was we could make it illegal to serve either steaks or serve burgers. You'd have an underground burger ring.
Just make it legal to serve burgers, buy steaks, and make your own burgers at home. Safe.
And hope that the thought police and you don't get caught up into some Polish court for making a burger when you shouldn't.
That's
have.
it.
But
we are the dead.
I absolutely love a burger. I think burgers are incredible. So
yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, before I take us to 2.5 hours of talking about food, I'm sorry.
Fair.
I haven't eaten a lot the last week, so you can imagine my brain's very much pacing the idea of having a good meal.
Yeah.
So this is a Nergal quote. So some idiots still claim that the Republic of the Unfaithful I'll start again. So some idiots still claim that the Republic of the Unfaithful Behemoth logo is a sacrilege to Polish national emblem. It is not, in fact, but they insisted to reopen the case to investigate further. They think that copyrights of White Eagle is solely owned by Poland and every other interpretation of the bird is a blasphemy. My antagonists seem to be so desperate to nail their favourite scapegoat to their rotten moral cross that they missed all the common sense in the narrative.
Yeah.
The next line is, but didn't Nergal celebrate a victory in the original case? He did indeed. It would appear that skirting the issue of the supposed blasphemy in the Polish courts isn't just a one and done deal.
Yeah, they'll just keep prosecuting you until they get you.
It certainly seems that way. Like, as far as I know, it's a very deeply Catholic, not Christian, but Catholic country.
Sure.
And generally speaking, like places that are that devout to religion, which is Ireland, a couple other places throughout Europe. The UK is more bigotry than it is religion, I think, these days. But you know what I'm getting at, like religious extremists.
We're never going to end up with someone being prosecuted under a blasphemy law here.
No,
Cue people
right.
in the comment section listing all the times it's happened. But well, you know what I mean? It's just it's a non-issue here, I think.
We'd hope we've outgrown it.
Yes.
We would hope, but there's plenty of things we'd hope we'd outgrown. But
True.
That's besides the point. Anyway, well, Behemoth no longer sell the shirt in question. Its design featured a demonic eagle flanked by two snakes behind an inverted cross on a red escutcheon.
Yeah, who knows?
But did it represent an insult to the official Polish symbol? Nergal didn't directly address that question in his latest message. However, he did opine on the unproductive nature of re-litigating the matter. He also pointed to an allegation of unpatriotism levelled at Behemoth. Patriotism, there it goes. There's where the argument fails.
Yeah.
They accuse us of anti-Polish acts, Nergal adds. If you ask me, spending hours in the court engaging all the people around, journalists, judges, lawyers, etc., spending so much tax money on another absurd case is deeply anti-Polish. We all could have saved this time to do something creative, couldn't we? I mean, that's definitely 1-0 for him.
Yeah, nailed it.
Can't really argue with that, you know what I mean?
There's one final line under the Instagram story which is very interesting.
Yes, it's not the first time Nergal's been in legal hot water. In 2010, the musician was tried in Poland for blasphemy after ripping up a Bible on stage and calling it a book of lies. Eventually, the courts dropped those charges.
Ooh. Wow.
I mean, I'm not saying this against anyone's faith, but it is a book of lies. Let's be totally honest.
If
it's a parable, it's not true. It's a lie.
And there's also plenty of contradictions. So
there certainly are.
And as I always like to say to my, I was going to say religious opponents. That's not really a thing, is it? But like you can't have it. You can't have it both ways. Either you're pro-slavery or you're not. And if you're not pro-slavery, then you have to say that there are lies in the Bible, because there's Exodus 21 is rules on how to maintain who you can keep as people and how you should treat those people as slaves. So if you think slavery is a bad thing, which of course it is, you would have to say, well, that part of the Bible is a lie. So it's inevitable.
Well, I had
we can't go to Poland now.
Nope. Been a few times though. It's lovely.
Yeah.
I've had a wild card argument against what you're saying there, because I use that as a comment speaking to someone, like, surely you don't agree with this, and as that you need to agree that the Bible is either all to be taken literally or not to be taken literally at all,
sure.
and, which would put you on either side. And they said, oh, you've just interpreted that wrong. That's actually like guidance on how you should look up to and how people should be looked after in terms of like employment, etc. Because like obviously jobs and stuff are different then, and I was like, no, it's still slavery. Like they literally say the word master.
Yeah, and also more importantly, if anyone's going to make that argument, they clearly haven't read the fucking book, have they? Because how to treat your employees, what? So it's okay if you beat them to within an inch of their life, as long as they can walk again after a few days. That's allowed. That's how you treat your employees, is it? Right, okay.
Don't worry about it. I had... To be fair, most of the conversation was actually them sending me links where obviously people had debunked these comments like yourself and like that these are the part in the Bible that don't make sense, and somebody's just found this resource, and they didn't even answer. They went to an online, what must have been a religious group, and then tagged me saying this is good reading. I was like, I appreciate you tagging me and I appreciate this is in good faith, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to read it because I've made my argument. Unless you want to argue against it with your own argument, it's up to you. But I'm certainly not going to find the answers against my own argument for you.
Yes,
make your point or don't.
Keep your apologist shit away from me. Or agree to be my slave under the... If you think that the way slavery act was in the Bible was acceptable because it's just about employees, well, how about you sign up to be my slave under the way that slavery worked in the Bible? Would that be okay? Yeah. Fuck it.
That's it.
Some people, the leaps that they will go to, and you make a mockery out of yourself. And I say that to people that make arguments like that, but I guess I'm really saying that to Poland. You're making a mockery out of yourself by doing something as ridiculous as this, pulling someone into court time after time after time. Culturally, I'm not going to say it's the only thing that exists, but culturally, this man is one of the people that helps to put your country on the map. There are many reasons to visit countries. There are many reasons to visit Poland. And this will be a reason for many people. Many people will be enough of a fan of the band that they will want to go to Poland to check out what Poland's about because of that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Good man.
Doing good things, and all right, you might consider some of the things he says and has done as controversial, but in the grand scheme of things, like, not really.
I think what I find most controversial about Nergal is the fact that Behemoth have got that like #1 metal album that we spoke about like 10, 20 episodes ago, and I listened to it and I'm like, none of this is that good. It's like entry-level blackened pop metal.
Sure. Yeah.
I know that sounds like a really total elitist hipster wank comment, but it never drawn me in. There's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I had a brief listen to it, and it's not a sound that I'm into, but we can't deny the fact that just like almost every single metal outlet gave it, what was it, album of the decade?
Something like that.
Yeah,
fuck it.
Yeah, it was a well-received, critically well-received album.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is a man that's helping to keep your country on the map, and that's a good thing. There's a lot of good things in Poland, obviously. Got my Mayanez guitars. They're Polish. Lots of great Polish beers. And it's a country marred with some, horrible things that have happened throughout history, of course. These are all reasons to want to visit Poland, to want to experience Poland. Good people, good food, and good artists. And to me, an artist is someone that can elicit some sort of emotional response from someone. And if you can make art in the way that these guys do, that elicits such a response that the country that you live in are trying to deem you unpatriotic and blasphemous, like that. That's my.
You've probably done something right.
It's my sort of art.
Trust you to be saying that.
I know. Okay, bye. Should we move on, or have you got something you want to add on that?
I was just going to say that the twice I've been to Poland, it's been beautiful, great. Everything was really clean. Everybody was lovely.
Yep.
Food was beautiful, just exactly as you said. People were lovely. Like, just great times. I would recommend anybody that wants to go a wee holiday, go and check out Krakow.
Yeah.
Or Krakow, however you say it. I don't know. Just amazing.
Just be very careful about what you say when you're there.
Aye.
Apparently.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you go to Krakow and almost round every single corner there is some sort of big cathedral or beautiful church or chapel. There's the big one up on the hill that's like almost like a castle,
right?
But it's like full of religious pieces. That also apparently has one of the 7 wonders of the world there, an energy chakra, which they corner off with a bit of rope because obviously being very Catholic and it being a Catholic holy ground, they don't want anybody to go over and start worshipping or touching or anything. Nancy and I touched it. I think Finlay touched it as well.
You can't say that out loud, right? You're in the Polish courts too now.
But I'm Catholic. I was just curious.
Okay.
So
sucking up that Catholic energy.
Like, my name is Michael Joseph McLaughlin. I couldn't be more Catholic if I tried. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, you probably could be more Catholic if you tried. Like, in the entire time I've known you, I don't think I've ever known you to go to a confessional.
That's fair, man. I could be more Catholic in the sense that I could actually be a practicing Catholic, but like in terms of default, like I'm.
Yeah, you can't escape it.
Aye,
it's your heritage.
Very much so. Aye. I was brought up Catholic, so I do have some foothold there, to be fair.
Speaking of heritage, Now, I wanted to talk about the Dixie Chicks a while ago, but they're just not metal, and it's not rock, and it doesn't tie into what we do. We may have mentioned it, but I was mildly bemused when the Dixie Chicks decided to change their name from the Dixie Chicks to just straight the Chicks. Because you can't say Dixie anymore, apparently. And now this is a band, of course, that have courted controversy over the years because back in the 90s they were very anti-Bush and very anti-war, which being a country act isn't a smart move to make to be anti-conservative, and they essentially terminated their own careers for the best part of 10 years there, while they were eaten alive by their fans. And it seems that. Do I want to say Lady A or Lady Antebellum? Let's go with both. Lady A, formerly Lady Antebellum, changed their name to Lady A because
Antebellum.
Yeah, well,
the name Antebellum, isn't it?
It's worth pointing out, like, Antebellum itself means before a particular war, before a war. So the term Antebellum itself, no real racist connotation to that. It often goes with the South, the Antebellum South. That's what people would talk about, right? The Antebellum South. To me, it's only a thing if you're romanticising the idea.
Fair, but I think the official explanation, dictionary-wise, from Google, if you write Antebellum, says adjective occurring or existing before a particular war, especially the US Civil War.
Yeah, because because that's where it gets used the most. But yeah,
of course,
it's a Latin root word, I'm sure, and it just it does just mean before the war. So this is when they initially changed their name. Wasn't something that interested me majorly, but now there's some legal issues around the situation. Definitely a lot more interesting because there is already an established Seattle blues singer named Lady A. So Lady Antebellum changed their name to Lady A. And actually the reason I wanted to run with this story is because the way I'm seeing it reported is largely misleading. Very, very misleading. They are... mainstream media is doing the mainstream media thing, right? They are presenting you a villain because the story is always being reported as Lady A, formerly Lady Antebellum, sues Seattle blues singer Lady A. But that's not actually, when you read the stories, that's not actually the situation. Lady Antebellum are seeking a court order or a kind of approval from a judge that they should be okay to use the term Lady A as a trademark, because the blues singer Lady A has actually sued them for $10 million, is actually seeking $10 million in compensation from them for trying to use the term Lady A. So to paint these stories as, big band goes after little blues singer is really, really misrepresentative. But I think there's an important lesson to learn from this, right? If you are an artist, if you have a brand, you should trademark your brand. It's very important to do so. Very, very important to do so. What do you think?
If you don't defend your trademarks, then you may as well not have them.
Yes.
Which is we've seen across the board with Gibson trying their best in the last year or so.
Yeah.
So it's going to set the same precedent for everybody else.
Yeah.
If a big company like Gibson can't say or can't defend the heritage or right to those things when artists are probably under the same banner or at least under the same intellectual property or copyright, whatever.
Yeah.
Aye. And I now understand why you said you made my point when I commented.
Yeah.
Which is fair because I only really read the headline.
Yeah.
And like a couple of lines on it.
Yeah. I'd read the headline a fair few places before I actually read an actual article, because I'd seen people posting it and then saying, shock fucking horror, band changes their name from Lady Antebellum to Lady A because they want to appear not racist, and then they sue a black singer so they can continue to use the name Lady A. And it's just so misrepresentative of the actual situation. Now, let me be clear. I'm not defending them in any way, shape or form, because to me there's nothing shittier, there's nothing shadier than them changing their name for social brownie points. Because the argument that they're trying to make in the courts is, well, it's okay for us to use Lady A as a name, and although that's not officially been our name, because that's been a name that we've been widely referred to as for a very long time amongst our fans. We have merchandise that says Lady A on it, etc., and we have done for a long time. Lady A is like a pseudonym for the band, or like a short form name for the band. This is what people have called us. Well, if that's your position, if you are already called Lady A, nothing's really, by changing your name officially from Lady Antebellum to Lady A, and all of your fans that know you as Lady Antebellum that already called you Lady A, are you really changing your name? Have you really done anything other than giving yourself an opportunity for the press to pat you on the back and say, well fucking done? Well, I'm glad this has blown up in your face, you idiots. No?
I'm just reading a wee bit here, and it basically says they both came to an agreement. So why there's like still hundreds of media of them both making cases against each other when they've settled? I think they're both stoking the fire, looking for...
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, right, it even says this as well. In an interview with Vulture, Lady A explained she had hopes to use half of the 10 million she demanded, to rebrand herself as a recording artist. It doesn't cost $5 million to change your name, while the rest of the money would be donated to organisations that help support independent black artists. Yeah. So the other $5 million, cool, great use of the money, if that's what you came to. The $5 million you claim you're going to need to rebrand yourself, I don't think that Nike has a $5 million fucking marketing budget for one thing.
Oh, I bet they do.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to make a point, smart ass.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I guess like the reason the story is really interesting to me is because it showcases that classic, and I say classic like I'm world famous, right? But that classic Levi Clay cynicism to absolutely everything. I just have to be really cynical about everything. This was a wonderful, wonderful marketing opportunity for both the band and the individual, and it will have cost them a little bit of money, to send some legal letters, but you can't buy the level of press that both artists have received. In fact, I'd be surprised if prior to this anybody knew who the blues singer Lady A was.
I'd never heard her, and I think for what I'm reading here, it seems like she's the one with more of the axe to grind, certainly the one that's causing the problems, right? So I'll just read you some of this from the Metro. Sure. This is an article on the same thing. It's her responding to the allegations in the comments, which was on Metro Friday the 10th, so yesterday. So as I read, she was hoping for the 10 million to be split, 5 million towards her and 5 million towards independent black artists for support, which is great. After she spoke with Lady Antebellum about potentially collaborating on a song together, they then sent her the contract, which she did not agree with. And as you read further down, it just seems to be a bit petty, if I'm honest. Yeah. Maybe I've got the wrong end of the stick. It's a bit bad for me to be saying anything that's like, I don't have the lived experience as a black artist talking about their experience, but it just seems a bit off kilter to me. She said the first contract they sent had no substance. It said we would coexist and they would use their best efforts to assist me on social media platforms, Amazon, iTunes, all that. Right? It doesn't seem as if it's unfair. But what does that mean? I'd suggested on Zoom call that they go by the band Lady A or Lady A the band, and I could be Lady A the artist, but they didn't want to do that. She continued, I was quiet for 2 weeks because I was trying to believe that it was going to be okay and they would realise that it would be easier to just change their name or pay me for my name. $5 million is nothing, and I'm actually worth more than that, regardless of what they think. But here we go again with another white person trying to take something from a black person, even though they say they're trying to help. I don't think that's quite the argument here, Lady. I think it's artists fighting over a name. It's nothing to do really with race.
Yeah, they're not trying to take your name because you are black.
If you want to be an advocate or an ally, you help those who you're oppressing, and that might require you to give up something because I am not going to be erased. You're not being erased.
Yeah, like I could totally see why people might look at that and say she's being really, really dramatic. But having said that, it must have been quite unsettling to have a small career for yourself under a particular name, and then this big, massively popular band just essentially come in and go, well, we're going to take that now, and you having to face up to the fact that, fuck, I've done absolutely nothing to take ownership of this name other than the fact that I've just used it. There are important lessons all right. I'm looking at this story right now. I just can't get over how much in the link that I sent to you, the guy on the right looks like David Tennant. That's what I'm seeing every time I look at this. Like,
I get that.
When did David Tennant join a band? So... I'm saying this, like, you should protect your brands, The Guitar Souls isn't a registered trademark, and it should be. Like, maybe I should take steps in order to do that, but who's going to want to use Guitar Souls?
I would love for them to use our logo with both our faces.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll write a letter to Lady A, the band, and say, look, I know you're having troubles with using Lady A. I want to give you Guitar Souls. You can call yourself... You can even have the logo and everything. Just because one of your guys looks so much like David Tennant. So.
Just to summarise my thoughts on it, I think Lady A has should have the right to retain the name, and Lady Antebellum should be the ones that have to defend that. Somehow, obviously, they've came to some sort of agreement, which is brilliant. But to demand 10 million and then just be overly dramatic, it kind of puts me off. It doesn't come across as sincere. I might be completely wrong. I might be reading this totally the wrong way, but it just doesn't come across sincere in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's a good job it's just my opinion, because it might be total bollocks.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. What do you guys think? Let us know in that comment section below.
Yes.
Shall we move on to this UK government story?
Quite a good one, actually.
Yeah, feels a little bit political. We should actually throw this in. So last episode we were obviously talking about Scotland funding live venues and things like that.
That's right. The grant package.
Yeah. Yep. And then almost immediately, as soon as the episode ended, the UK government did a much bigger package, didn't they?
Obviously, couldn't be seen to be upped by Scotland.
That's Levi Clay levels of cynicism. I like it.
It's no cynicism, it's fact. We're not going to get political, but what I will say is the government had to be strong-armed by a footballer into providing food and money to feed starving children. They waited 2 weeks, then announced you know what I mean, like Boris Johnson saying, I didn't know anything about this footballer that was doing all these funds and whatever. And then days later, Rishi Sunak comes out and says, right, no bother, everybody's getting up to 50% off the bill, up to £10 worth if you eat out Monday to Wednesday. Alright, so you had all that funding there to look after those children, and you're actually going to benefit more people to eat out than it would be for the £3.50 or £2.50 a day, I think they've pledged to look after starving children. You are fucking capitalist wanks. Disgusting, amoral, fucking beings, man. Horrible.
He's
horrible.
Doing his best to not get political, but he's failing miserably.
You know what? I'm going to use a Boris Johnson insult, and this is one that he apparently came out with before, right? A great protoplasmic supine invertebrate jelly. That's what he called someone.
I want to post that on Reddit, r/brand new sentence, but evidently it's not a brand new sentence.
Sadly not. That's the only thing that Boris Johnson has done that has benefited humanity. The only thing.
I mean, prior to when he was the mayor of London, he did plenty of things to benefit humanity because he was hilarious.
You mean like building that bridge that was meant to be a garden that never happened? But
he was a bumbling idiot over and over and over and over again. And as a Londoner, that was thoroughly enjoyable just to laugh at him.
He is a dangerous man in a jester's outfit.
Yep.
He knows what he's doing.
But that didn't make him any less funny.
It would definitely take the edge off the satire in my mind to think that we're laughing at a guy who could and probably is systematically dismantling the NHS. But we'll move on because I'm getting political.
Yeah. You can't help it. You just...
I just hate the Tories.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so read the story for us.
Yes. So the UK government clears outdoor concerts to resume, and this was announced yesterday. This is on Metal Sucks, so it'll probably be written silly, but we'll read it. The UK government, in its ongoing quest to be almost but not quite as embarrassingly bad as the US at containing the coronavirus, has cleared outdoor concerts to resume this weekend with a limited and socially distanced audience. Despite all the evidence suggesting the virus is much less likely to spread outdoors than indoors, this strikes me as a bad idea. I get it. The live events industry is suffering, people need jobs, and the masses are craving entertainment. I just don't think I'm ready for an outdoor concert yet in close proximity of others. How about you?
So glad to see Metal Sucks putting all of their personal spins on everything. I have to ask, I don't know much about the founders of Metal Sucks, but do they write under pseudonyms?
I doubt the guy's name is Axel Rosenberg.
Yeah, and Vince Neilstein. This is written by Vince Neilstein.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough. Continue.
So, Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden explains, of course we won't see crowds flooding into their venues, but from July 11th our theatres, operas, dance and music shows can start putting on outdoor performances to socially distant audiences. That means theatre goers can experience a live play for the first time in months at places like the stunning Minnock Theatre in Cornwall, and music lovers can attend Glyndebourne this summer. I've never heard of Glyndebourne in my fucking puff, but that's besides the point. The lift on bans of outdoor public gatherings puts the country in stage 3 of its 5-step roadmap for bringing back the performing arts. Can I just say the term roadmap is fucking stupid? A map has roads on it. That's why it's a map. You don't have to write roadmap. It's redundant. Stage 3 also includes testing the small indoor events, which will begin soon. The roadmap has been laid out as follows. Stage 1, rehearsal and training. No audiences. Just as well, because it's only the audience that carry coronavirus. Stage 2, performances for broadcast and recording purposes. Again, cameraman, audio crew, front of house, guys that are running it, whatever, none of them, they're all like completely immune to it. Stage 3, performances outdoors with an audience and pilots for indoor performances with a limited socially distanced audience. Stage 4, performances allowed indoors and outdoors, but with a limited socially distanced audience indoors. Stage 5, performances allowed indoors and outdoors with a fuller audience indoors.
So no plan for going back to complete normality, and also, of course, as with anything like this, no time frame for any of that.
It's just...
Yeah. I know.
I suppose it really comes down to how these events are implemented. How will social distancing be enforced? All it takes is one idiot to get a whole lot of people sick. As far as a return to full-time touring for bands, that won't be happening anytime soon. But I do wonder whether ordinances like the above will make it possible for Europe's great outdoor metal festivals to return in summer 2021. There was actually an outdoor metal festival in the Czech Republic last week or the week before that looked quite successful, but it wasn't very well socially distanced.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see if anyone I know who attended or their circle of friends, 6 degrees of separation, etc., fall ill.
Yeah. I'm going to be a little bit flippant, facetious even, if you like. It doesn't matter, actually, because no matter how bad any spike is in the UK or in Europe because of situations like this, it will never be as bad as things are going in the States right now, right? So I spend a lot of time debating on whether or not I should go back to, 5 or 6 episodes, probably a bit longer than that now. We've been doing these quarantine episodes for a long time, but go back to some of our earlier episodes and just engage with some of the people that got really angry in the comments that we'd have the nerve to say something negative about the way America's been doing, and actually they're doing fantastically compared to UK. I kind of want to go back to those comments and just leave an updated response going, would you like to revise your position?
Honestly, I can't be arsed with that.
I know.
Like engaging people in these conversations anymore, because it's just super divisive. And I know that's rich coming from someone who is strongly opinionated. Yeah. But
I think it's okay to be that. Like, I think that's where we're very different. Like, we're both very, very strongly opinionated. And while I do engage heavily in these discussions with people, while I can, have a rant in rage go on for days and days, like with that moron John Meeks, I can do it over and over and over. I don't let it, ruin my day.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming down with my polygraph anyway, so you'll be all right.
Very good.
Save yourself $400, eh?
Very good, very good.
You better get Haley out as well, because obviously there needs to be 2 names on it, otherwise it's not legit.
Okay, should we move on?
That guy he was clown shoes. That's what he was.
I've
fucking clown shoes.
Never ever dealt with somebody that moronic in my entire days.
It was the paragraph that was one sentence of, I am a computer tech and I am 48 years old and I am retired and I am really good at computers. I'm also really good at guitar and I've had a polygraph and you haven't, and that means that I've put it on the line and you need to pay for it if you fail it.
Yeah.
And I was like, polygraph doesn't test anything. It doesn't. It's a reaction to your body. Yeah. If your heart rate goes up or pulse or you have a muscle spasm, then it goes. All you need to do is tense your asshole, and it cheats it. Simple as that.
Also, more importantly, there's no doubt in my mind you genuinely believe you're telling the truth. That doesn't mean that you're correct, you absolute clown. And I also really enjoyed the trying to be smug. Yeah, well, I'm 48 and I'm retired and you're still working like an idiot. Motherfucker, the reason you got in touch with me in the first place is because you wanted a transcription. And when I quoted you my standard prices that absolutely everybody pays, which were nowhere near as high as you were claiming they were too expensive for you, right? So maybe you should go back to work. So when you want to pay someone for their time and pay someone to provide you a service, that it's not too expensive for you. Retired at 48, you fucking idiot. I'll move on.
He's probably been medically retired because he's just too stupid to work.
Yeah.
But We'll leave it at that,
I know,
right? And enough shitting on this guy because he's an easy target. He's not here to defend himself, and it's a waste of time.
Yeah. But
like him,
it's when I get the most animated and I have the most fun.
I know, that's great fun.
Yeah, it's actually that it's a shame because that story, well, him doing that managed to completely eclipse the Peter Farrell situation, which was something I wanted to talk about, but John Meeks was so moronic that I couldn't, I couldn't possibly talk about Peter Farrell because that was just a non-story in comparison.
You've got like a new enemy every week, man. You're worse than me.
I know, but just make sure you have fun with it. That's the important thing. As long as you're enjoying yourself rather than genuinely sitting around the house going, I can't fucking believe what's happened. I mean, I couldn't believe what's happened. I don't get
that way, to be fair. It takes a lot for me to be totally riled up, or it would be like if I had an argument with somebody that I know personally, and I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are you on about? But, aye, you're totally right. Like, you need to have fun with it. It needs to be like an enjoyable experience if you're going to argue with people. I know it sounds like a bit of a stupid comment, but you know what I mean.
This we mentioned musicals last time, right? And when I've got this next story open at the top, there's an advert for a musical. I want to make mention to it because everybody should go and watch it and enjoy it. Hamilton on Disney Plus. Go and watch it. It's good. It's good.
Nancy was talking about that and said we should watch it, and I was like,
good, very good. Not for you, no.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I would need to try. I'm just being. I'm just a crabbit bastard this week, man. I've just been like, just in my own wee shell, kind of in my husk, just not feeling ill enough to just lie in bed all day, but not being well enough to do anything. Yeah. So just being kind of existing, feeling sorry for myself, which is so pathetic. And then I would get angry that I was being pathetic, and then I'd be angry at being angry at myself, and it was just this perpetual cycle of things are rubbish.
Yeah, you are the king of anger, king of rage. It's funny that people don't really know that about you. People probably think of me as the batshit loony raging man that's constantly screaming and shouting at things. But if you want to see pure rage, like go on a car trip with Mike somewhere.
That's the only time that I'm like that, though. You know that I'm like generally quite easygoing, placid. Sorry, things will be okay. Yeah. But then when something, there's 3 instances, right? Road rage.
Yeah.
If I hurt myself and I get the red mist, you know, like you bash your thumb sometimes, and it's rather than it being like ow, you just go fucking and start hitting things. Or if like somebody puts Finlay at risk or whatever, right. Like that kind of shit.
Send the red mist down.
Oh man, that's when I'm like, almighty thunder, fuck, I'm going to just lose my shit. Yeah. And I'm not like that. I'm not like an aggressive person. I'm not into conflict all that much. I don't mind challenging people in a sensible way, but I'm not like, is that fucking real? A big fucking idiot bruiser or whatever. Yeah. But like I told you the story about in the supermarket with the woman last week or the week before or whatever that reached over Finlay. That was like red mist. Like, wait a fucking minute. Like, put me at risk if you want, but don't put my wee boy at risk. Yeah. Don't do it. Yeah. And that's not an emotional plea. That's you're getting a warning.
Yeah, the red mist only descends over me if someone physically hurts me. And then as I don't know why. Actually, no, there's 2 things. If someone physically hurts me or if someone insults my partner. But the only times I can think of where I've lost it, absolutely lost it.
When you get defensive, it's that snap.
At the time I tried to batter my dad.
What I'm talking about.
I felt he was calling my wife a liar, and it just the mist descended. That wasn't Levi from that point onwards.
Not going to lie, it was pretty good that I wasn't there.
Yeah. Right. So just continuing on the Hamilton thing. Yeah, go watch Hamilton. I mentioned it. Well, Hayley told me she wanted to watch it, and I was very confused by this. She said, "I want to watch Hamilton." I was like, "Yeah, what's it about?" I knew the answer.
So about Hamilton, the place?
The place Hamilton, yeah. I knew the answer, and she went, "Is it about like a rap battle?" No, amazing, not quite, babe. No, it's a deep American history telling of the tale of Alexander Hamilton and his times through the Revolutionary War, and then the setting up of America with the founding fathers and the things that happened to him. It doesn't strike me as the sort of thing that you would be interested in, but sure, we can watch it.
I might be into it. I don't know. Yeah. I've also been recommended that I watch some of Ken Burns documentaries, which are apparently really, really good. The Prohibition one's apparently fantastic. He does one in Vietnam that's 9 hours long, and they're very, very in depth. But I've heard they're dynamite. But I've not even began to even climb that peak yet.
Yeah.
I've sent you something on Facebook in your messages if you just want to open this. So Ross Cloughy from Nishima, guitarist for Nishima, sent me this link and like, this would be interesting to talk about, right? And that's exactly why. So he's like, look at that discount and you still wouldn't spend the money.
Yeah.
So for those that are watching, I'd imagine Levi can put this on screen. Or you can Google it. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the D'Angelico brand, kind of gypsy jazz box, usually pretty beautiful and ornate guitars. They have a Premier Ludlow, Ludlow model, in army green, and this is being sold by Guitar, and it is less than half price, and it's an interesting guitar, to say the least. And he sent me the link because he was like, I was just looking on Guitar, and look at the fucking state of that. It'd be really interesting to talk about. It's the most ugly thing I've seen in a while. He got it in a promotion email and burst out laughing. So
I can't even remember the exact model of it, right? I'll send you a link to this. So back when I was working with Lick Library and I ran the Guitar Idol competition, we got like a bunch of really cool prizes. And one of them was, I'm sure it was something like this. We got a guitar from Fret King, and this was the booby prize. This was the, like, fuck, someone's going to have to win this, and nobody is going to want to win this. Somebody's going to have to take this monstrosity home. It might have been the Fret King Esprit. I remember Morgan Reed won the guitar. Never seen it anywhere, so what
it probably went right onto like Gumtree or something. I mean, I don't know anybody that wins guitars and then sells them. But
yeah, fair point.
No, that wasn't a slight.
I missed that guitar. That was nice.
The Fret King Esprit. You were surprisingly pleasantly surprised by that itself. Anyway, the Fret King Esprit is like, they've tried to make a cool Explorer weird shape and not really done it justice as much as they've done their best, and that's my opinion on it, at least, especially for the money. I think you could probably spend a couple of £100 less and get like a vintage guitar that would look cooler. But it also seems to be the kind of guitar that fits the niche of people that play things like the is it Airline?
Yeah.
What's the brand that
Jack White
played? And those kind of guitars, or like First Act, the US brand, people just have these obscene, shouldn't really work shapes, not ergonomic, but then they make them work because that's just how they just roll with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought we'd talk about that very quickly and say thanks very much, Ross. Thanks for the content. Anybody else that's got anything they want us to laugh at and whatever else, give us a shout.
Yeah.
We are going to end up turning into a reaction channel. It's getting that way into it. Like, look at this. There's a video we've got to watch.
Yeah.
But
let's react to this then. So, final story of the day. Metallica's fan vote to name their greatest song is over, and here is the winner. So, I specifically told you not to read this, so hopefully you haven't read it yet. Obviously, Metallica have got some great songs. They've got some not so great songs. Nobody can deny how important a metal band they are, how influential they are, and nobody can kind of knock them for why they're as influential as they are. I think they are a legitimately great metal band. They're a legitimately important metal band.
Absolutely.
You can say you're not a fan of them, but you have to respect what they've done in their careers. They've been a wonderful force for metal. If you were to look back on their entire catalogue of songs, what would you say is Metallica's best song?
As in what I would think everyone would vote for, or my own personal choice?
Oh, that's interesting. Let's go with, let's do each. What would be your personal choice?
I've got a couple of options that I like, but I don't know. Right, I would say it is a tie-up of maybe 3 songs: Leper Messiah, Disposable Heroes, and Damage Inc.
Okay.
I think probably the top 3 that I would be like, oh aye, big dick riffs into it.
Those my number one isn't actually even on that. Isn't one of those 3. What do you think won?
What do I think won?
Yeah.
It was voted for by the fans, wasn't it?
By Metallica fans, yeah.
I'm going to say, I mean, I would say the cliche is going to be Enter Sandman, but I don't think that's anybody's favourite song.
No.
It's no I Disappear, is it?
I mean,
Boom, wow, boom, boom, wow, boom. That's the
I can
album
assure
again.
you it's definitely not that, no.
No, I wouldn't think so. You know what? Fuck it, Master of Puppets.
It was Master of Puppets, yeah.
Oh, yes!
Yeah. The finals came down to 1 versus Master of Puppets. So
I didn't even think about one there. That's really bad, isn't it?
yeah. It seems that they did it in quite a good way because they did it doing the kind of, like brackets, the football bracket type thing, leading down, like 2 songs would battle off and then they would end up going towards another song and battling off against that one. But it seems that they've actually split them up in terms of like different albums start in different places. So you're not getting one of those situations where you have 2 shit songs battling it out down here and 2 great songs battling it out down here, and you at the end you're like, well, if that was in a different order, maybe it wouldn't have come out that way. And that's going to happen anyway. But I guess what I'm saying is they've managed to filter out everybody's favorite songs from each album, and then those are sort of going head to head. Yeah, wouldn't be my choice though. My choice would be, I had a hard think about this before.
Unforgiven Part 3. With the best solo you've ever heard.
For me, it's Creeping Death. I absolutely love Creeping Death.
Used to cover Creeping Death in my old band. That was a good fun one to play.
Yeah, that's there's something just magical about that. The end section of that, just everyone chatting, die. That's there's something heavy about that. And when you listen to that song now, I listened to it before we started. It's old, it sounds old. It's got that old production to it, and I'd love to hear a modern day take on that, how that would sound now if they did it. But it's still, to me, that song just holds up. I think it's great. I said I was going to put you on the spot though, right?
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reel off Metallica albums and see how great the album is by seeing if you can remember any songs from the album.
I have not listened to Metallica in quite a few years, so this should be, I say interesting, what I actually mean is terrible.
Yeah. So if we go right back to, 1983? Yeah, 1983, Kill 'Em All. Can you remember any songs from Kill 'Em All?
Kill 'Em All.
No. No, nice guess. It's funny because when I look at the track list, these songs jump out to me. But before looking at that, I think maybe
Trapped Under Ice isn't on Kill 'Em All, isn't it?
It
is Trapped Under Ice.
It's not.
No, it's not. Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel like a fanny because you're going to say one. I'm like, oh, all right, aye.
I'll reel them off, right? So Hit the Lights, The Four Horsemen, classic. Motor Breath.
Right, see, here's the problem, right? I know these riffs and I know them as Megadeth riffs. That's where the problem is, right? Okay, I'll get you. Right, go for it.
Jump in the Fire, Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, Whiplash, Phantom Lord, No Remorse, Seek and Destroy. That's a great tune. And Metal Militia. So, yeah, okay. We'll call that one a swing and a miss. Ride the Lightning. How many songs can you name off Ride the Lightning?
Probably not many. Creeping Death was Ride the Lightning, wasn't it?
Creeping Death was Ride the Lightning, yep.
Yep. Trapped Under Ice.
Trapped Under Ice, good.
Is it Blackened? No.
Nope.
No, it's no.
What a mind-numbingly frustrating game, right?
I mean, it would be like that if I had it in front of me. I just don't know these albums anymore. And I was never really one for listening to an album and looking at the art and whatever else. I just listened to music in the background, so I would know the songs, but generally wouldn't know the track listing or whatever, unless it's an album that I am mega into. Right?
I bet you'll do really well on Master of Puppets.
Probably name the full album, but that would be just...
I'll spoil this one then. So Fight Fire with Fire. Yeah, Ride the Lightning. You could have, you tried.
Could have said that.
Yeah, you tried just naming the album on Kill 'Em All, but not here. For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Shite.
Yeah, Fade to Black.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Trapped Under Ice. Escape, Creeping Death, and The Call of Cthulhu. I'm sure there should be an H in there, but Cthulhu. Yeah.
Cthulhu. Sorry, 2 seconds.
So now we're getting on to Big Daddy. Master of Puppets, which I think most fans would probably say is their best record. Evidently, the fans said that Master of Puppets itself is their best song. What songs feature on Master of Puppets?
Opens with Battery,
Yeah.
then it's Master of Puppets, Thing That Should Not Be.
Yeah.
What's after that? Welcome Home Sanitarium.
It is, yep.
And then we're into the three that I mentioned, I believe. I think the next one's Disposable Heroes.
It is, yeah. Very good.
Then Leper Messiah.
Yeah.
Damage Inc. Is that it?
There's one. You missed one out. There's an
One more.
instrumental track on the album.
Orion.
Yeah. That's impressive. That's pretty. Not only did you know all the tracks, you got them in order.
That wasn't too bad. I mean, that's one of the albums that I was like, this is amazing. I had a poster of the Master of Puppets album up on the wall.
All right, what about, I won't go much further than this. I'll do two more. And Justice for All.
And Justice for All. What else is on there? Blackened.
Blackened, yeah, it's the opening track.
It's the first track in it.
Yeah.
Aye.
We've turned Mike into a creaky door.
Aye. I don't know.
Okay.
You're hurting my brain, man. This is not the right week to try and get my brain going.
You missed one, of course, which was the big single from the album. Eye of the Beholder, Shortest Straw, Harvester of Sorrow, Frayed Eyes of Sanity, To Live Is to Die, and Dyer's Eve.
Dyer's Eve?
Yeah, Dyer's Eve.
Aye. I see. It's not an album I know very well.
Okay.
Blaney really liked Injustice for All, but it didn't catch me as well as Master did.
Okay, what about the Black Album, self-titled? And we'll leave it at this one.
Another waste of time, man.
You can name one or two of this, I'm sure.
You'd think that.
Think Metallica at their commercial peak.
Unforgiven on that?
The Unforgiven is on there, yeah. But they've had more commercial songs than that.
The Memory Remains, is that one there? The one with Marianne Faithfull? Or is that Garage Inc?
I think that...
Or Load?
I think that's on Load. Could be Reload. Reload. That's Reload.
Enter Sandman?
Enter Sandman, of course, yep.
I Disappear's not on that. That's Reload, isn't it? Or Load?
That is not on the Black Album,
no.
What about their heaviest riff? Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but the heaviest, most grindy riff. The one that makes you want to do this.
I don't know, Fuel? Because it's certainly none of the songs on Black Album make me want to do that, I don't think.
Sad but true. The
heaviest grindy riff.
That grinds. Yeah, that's a grindy riff.
Geese piece. It's slow. It's boring. It is. If we're going to talk about Metallica's heaviest riffs, it's definitely up there with like The Thing That Should Not Be when the distortion kicks in. Dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? Or Leper Messiah. Dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? Like, don't talk to me about heavy if you're going to talk about commercial songs. Fucking sell sunglasses.
I'll reel them off then. So Holier Than Thou, The Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam, Don't Tread on Me, Through the Never, Nothing Else Matters, of course, Of Wolf and Man.
Oh, that's right, aye.
Yeah. The God That Failed, My Friend of Misery, and The Struggle Within. So
that's that emo album.
yeah, I feel this should be a regular feature on the show. Just pick a band and be like, right, name the songs on this album, go.
Go for Megadeth and I'll probably get quite a lot more.
You'll nail it. So people think Master of Puppets is Metallica's best song. I think it's Creeping Death, and Mike thinks it's one of three songs all on Master of Puppets.
If I had to pick of the three, I know you're not twisting my arm, I would say Disposable Heroes. It's just a fucking great song. It's got some incredible rhythm section. That's what I would say. The guitar in it is just big dick.
Do you know what other guitar is big dick? This show has been brought to you by Ormsby Guitars. If you are unfamiliar with Ormsby and what they do, I would recommend you head on over to ormsbyguitars.com. Absolutely wonderful instruments made out of Australia by Perry Ormsby. You know, they focus on a lot of really interesting things, probably most notably the multi-scale thing. You can see a couple of them hanging behind my head. I am a big fan of the Goliath series. Having said that, I've also almost ordered myself a Hype over the years, and I think the thing that Ormsby do that, well, lots of companies have dabbled in, but they do a great job of it, is these runs of builds. You can go on their website now, check out the pre-order section of their website, and you will see a series of upcoming runs of guitar. You can get in on those with prepayment plans and really get yourself a nice, well-built instrument for an unbelievable price. So thanks to Ormsby Guitars for supporting the show. Go and check them out and let them know that we sent you. Thanks very much. So, as always, massive thank you to Perry and the guys over at Ormsby for your love, kindness, and support. I meant to do this at the start of the show, so I've been restringing a bunch of guitars recently. So I busted out these bad boys, right?
Yeah, boy!
Right. As far as I'm concerned, right, these things could be snake oil. They could be nothing. They could just be coloured water, right? And I wouldn't mind, because this blue one smells so good.
Oh, it's drinkable, isn't it? It kind of bubblegum essence.
Absolutely amazing. But no, they do a really good job. The wax in particular, I'm surprised. The wax, very cool. So yeah, and now my fretboard smells nice. I like that. I really like this blue stuff. It's just
that stuff on an ebony fretboard makes a big difference, man. It looks really good and it's easy enough to clean, and it lasts.
Yeah, it's very it's just strange because I've got a lot of polishers from a lot of different companies, right? But I don't think I've ever had something to treat my guitar where the first thought is, this smells really good, but this legitimately smells really fucking good. So
when you think about fast fret, you think of rust. That's what it smells like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, solvents.
Yeah.
As opposed to something where you're like, oh, this is nice.
So it's funny actually because like I don't look after my guitars nearly as well as I should. Like I don't restring them. Yeah, there you go. I don't restring them nearly often enough. And when I do restring them, polishing them isn't something that really bothers me because I'm okay with my guitars looking a bit played, scabby. But after giving a guitar a good polish with those, I looked at it and went, oh, I need to do this more often. It looks sparkly now.
It can be mental.
Yeah.
Can it, like, see when the Metallica is probably the one that gets the most attention from me when it comes to aesthetics because it's just a fucking beautiful guitar. Yeah. But as soon as that's getting restrung, it's like, yeah, polishes out, get a good wipe down, get the fretboard all cleaned and conditioned, get the wax on, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Cool. I just went over to Studio One, which is what I record everything in, to check the audio because I panicked. I was like, fuck, what if the audio's cut out again? It hasn't. The audio didn't cut out at all during the show. Yay! And it probably should have, but it didn't. So thank you, PC. Thank you so much for working. Thank you for doing what you're supposed to do.
Did you move it to the right place?
How do you mean?
Did you
the
move it
PC.
back to
Yeah,
everything's
down where it needs to be.
That's why it's working now.
I actually think that I had the Apollo. It was plugged into a USB port on the back. It was a red port that says SSD 10 on it, and I was told, or I read, that should be a higher power port. But I think actually that was the issue. I think it wasn't doing what a proper blue USB 3 port should do. So I've got it now plugged into that the PCIe card. And
it's funny you say that. I think the red one is like a diagnostic port of some kind. It's still a USB, but I think it's something to do with your motherboard.
Right.
I believe. I might be talking shit, but I think it's like I don't know if it's for diagnostics or monitoring, or if it's like a piece of hardware that fits specifically for expanding the fucking motherboard. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. Anyway.
Won't make that mistake again. The woes of technology. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in.
Yes.
Hope you have enjoyed the show. As always, please do leave us some comments in that comment section below. And if you would like to check out our merch, there is a link in the description. Merchandise is a great way to support the channel. Also, just letting Ormsby know that we love them and that you love them because we love them is really helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you haven't, go and follow our social media and theirs.
Yes.
Search the Guitar Souls, hashtag the Guitar Souls, or Ormsby Guitars, and you'll find all of these things. Especially like the social medias for Ormsby, man. Some of the guitars on there are like staggering. Man.
They sort of single-handedly got me a little bit more interested in Instagram because I only follow like 70 people on Instagram. But after following Ormsby, I now am a little bit more in that habit of just wanting to scroll through my Instagram feed a little bit because I know that I'm going to see some cool guitars, and it's encouraged me to follow a few other guitar brands so I can enjoy pictures. Because actually, you know, as much as I do love Facebook, there's a lot. It's very difficult to use Facebook for anything other than posting your ideas. You know what I mean? Your opinions, your thoughts, giving people platforms, and then they love to just stand up and tell you about shit. They love to stand up and be like, "Oh, this is what I think." And while that's absolutely fine, you get Instagram's a bit more of a breath of fresh air because it's pictures. You don't even need to read the text. You can just enjoy a nice picture and go, "I'm going to click that. I like that one." You can have a heart.
If you don't follow Rigs of Dad on Instagram, you have to follow Rigs of Dad.
So you mentioned that last week and I followed them. So
did you have a look through?
I don't actually remember them showing up in my feed. But
right, so if you go further up into it, I don't remember if it's the last year or two, but certainly in the history, Tam for Crossfire has been mentioned. Standing in garbage with that full stack. You know what I mean? Like,
what a champion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the silly context on it as well. Anyway, sorry, I know I'm totally going off topic again.
So one more time, thank you very much for tuning in. And Mike, until next time.
Sayonara, fuckers.